Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
Hey folks, it's Mike Kruizinga. We are back inside Real Estate Radio. Hey, it's time to get on to some high school sports. We're going to talk a little bit of high school sports with, we got Coach Ferrin Douglas on the line, 5A state champion boys basketball coach. Hey, Coach, you on the line with us?
Yes, I am. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing excellent. It's great to have you on board. Hey, congratulations on another amazing season, and congratulations on the state championship. By the way, folks out there, this is a back-to-back state championship. Hard to get there once, hard to win it once. Getting back there twice and winning it twice, wow, that's really difficult to do.
Yeah, it's tough.
Well, how did you do it?
Basically, I think the guys just kind of, we never talked about it too much. We just kind of worked hard every day in practice, and just, we just talked about getting better. We never talked about winning the state championship. So I just credit the guys, man. It's a lot of stress on young guys that's 16, 17 years old in the community and everybody, talking to back, so I think they did a great job just handling the pressure all year.
Yeah, and I think you bring up a good point that, these guys are, they're men, but, they are kids at the same time, 16, 17 years old. And, especially, and honestly, I think the pressure is on high school sports is even a little bit more nowadays than it used to be. I know it was no big deal back in the day when I was playing sports. It was, most people were working during game time, and so nobody was there, whereas they got packed houses these days, and of course you got social media as well. How do you kind of help the players deal with, with this type of pressure?
Oh, man, it's different. Like you say, when I was coming up, we didn't have cell phones and different things like that. I have a story. I think it was like in 2015, we normally when we stay in the hotel, I'd take the phones up, so the guys can get focused, get out the phone and all that. But the next year, we finally we made it to state, and one of my guys said, "Coach, that don't work. Can we keep our phones?" So I said, "Wow, and they play better. So I don't take up phones now. I think they're just part of their life now. So it's just an adjustment that we had to make."
Right. Well, maybe, I guess, and as each generation comes up, they have different things to deal with. We kind of dealt with things more live and in person, and these days, they don't necessarily deal with things live and in person as much. It's kind of more through social media. And I guess they start to learn how to manage it then, I guess. Right.
Well, they did a good job. They do a good job, It's just like you say, it's just a new generation, new time, and these guys, they did a great job this year, handling all that type of stuff.
Absolutely. Well, it was a close game in the championship game over Fort Bend, and a 3-point game, and they got close towards the end on you, and so how did you kind of keep everybody together and hold tight to pull it off?
Well, we just we had a tough district this year. I think we got one of the toughest districts in the state, so. By us playing tough games, close games, and knowing how to, react under pressure, the guys handled that well. We had, as I always say, you have a little adversity going in. Getting on the bus, getting ready to go to the game, getting on the bus, our charter bus didn't start. The battery was dead. And I was like, oh, man, what type of almond is this? I don't know,
That's right. Yeah, that would be a little disconcerting for sure.
Right. So when we get to the game, it was already against us already. So when we get to the game, they had Fort Bend Elkins. They was ranked above us the whole year, and they was pretty good. Another thing happened too. Our best player, our leading scorer, Jacoby Pemberton, he blows out his knee in the semifinal game Thursday. So we going in the game with a dead battery and not our best player. He's not playing at all, So. And we playing against the number one team in the state. So the guys just rallied around that, man, and they just played tough, and we had some people step up to win a big game for us.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, going a man down, and then of course your ride goes down on you as well. A lot of adversity, the coming weeks of the game and the day of the game, and to kind of hold tight and get the win, that's pretty huge. By and large, throughout the season, I was looking at the scores. I mean, you're probably averaging, 15, 17 point victories on everybody. Now, obviously, there was a few close games in there, but you had quite a few blowouts as well. Really only looks to me like just had a couple losses. These weren't, games that were mattering necessarily, but,
Right.
Probably good to have a couple losses in there to kind of, refocus the team. I know sometimes just winning and winning and winning big, it's hard to keep the focus.
Right. What I like to do, I like to always schedule the best. I want to schedule the best early in the season. I don't too much worry about the losses or whatever. I'm just mainly concerned about the experience. And then once we get to district time, I think we'll be ready. So I like to really, really load my schedule real tough in the beginning of the season. So we'll be pretty much unseen and played everybody. So I think it's the scheduling part early in the year that helps us a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I think the smart coaches do that. They load up front, and they load those games that are non-district games, sort of just for competition, seeing where you are. Maybe you play a level above, like you picked up humble Atascocita, which actually went to the state finals 6A this year, and
Right.
but lost. So you played them, and you played them strong and played them tight. They barely won by 7 points. But I think the smart coaches do that. They play the best up front and prepare their team, to take on district and then move on.
Right. And another thing too, I just feel like when you do that, you kind of let your kids know that, hey man, we got a lot of work to do. But I'm the type of coach, I like to win and get better. A lot of coaches, they try to, they'll take a loss and get better, but I like to win and get better.
Right. Yeah. If you can keep those wins up and keep everybody's head in the game, then that's obviously what you want to do. And you've got a big task ahead of you because keeping 16, 17-year-old boys' heads in the game, that can be tough, because you got a lot of distractions. We talked about the social media, but of course, you got the ladies and all the other things that they want to do as well, right?
Right, yeah, you got to kind of try to juggle everything together, but again, these guys, man, they did a great job, and just being there last year, that's the experience they had last year, they were just anxious to get back to that spot, and like I always tell them, man, we just got to respect the process, we don't want to skip processes, when you already been to a state championship one year, you ready to just fast forward everything back to that point again, but not taking care of the steps that got you there last year. So we just want to take one practice at a time, one day at a time. We got a saying that we call EPIV, and that's which we call every possession is vital. So we use it like just for our day-to-day practice. We want to know what every practice is vital. So we want to make sure that we getting better every day. Getting the win a day, and then we just kind of play it like that. And we don't want to get look too far ahead ourselves,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and one thing that struck me as well is, not only were you putting up quite a bit of points, this year, but you were holding your opponents pretty darn well as well. So you weren't just going out and throwing the ball up a lot. You were actually playing some defense as well.
Yeah, we play. That's what we, any team they always. Defense wins championships, but a lot of times too, we do a great job of controlling the tempo. We like to go down sometime. We can run fast and we can play if we got, numbers and to score real quick, but we also can get down and run our offense for a while also too. I think when you're playing against teams like Elkins, you don't want to shoot fast because they want to get back and they could score real good. So what you want to do, you want to go down and pass that ball around some and kind of make it seem like the other end of the floor is foreign to them when they get down there. So we just want to try to control the tempo with our offense and just focus on giving them one shot on the defensive end.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of a somewhat rare approach in this day and age. It's kind of to balance that balance the track meet, balance the getting down the floor quick and scoring quick. But a lot of times that yields the other side scoring quick, and then you try to get back quick. Maybe there's a turnover, then all of a sudden they start coming up a few possessions on top of you, and then they start picking up a lead. So kind of balancing that, getting down the floor quick, but also running your offense and controlling that tempo of the game, like you say. I think that's kind of it's a little more rare in the game now, don't you think?
Right. But they just come from experience, just me as a coach. I remember in 2010 we played a Houston Yates team. They was ranked number one in the country. I don't know if you remember that game. We played them in Austin. And they was putting up 120, 130 points, man. I was like, wow, how are we going to try to play with these guys, And that's what I picked up. I just feel like you can't run with them every time, and every shot is not a good shot. So what we did, if we had a layup, a lot of times we just pulled it out and made them play some defense and just, try to keep them from the other end of the floor as much as possible because they can score in bunches, I think that just came from me just with that experience from that. And I just, as a coach, you just got to keep getting better and keep learning. You never know everything. So I just think those games back then in 2010, that helped me to this day.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, you did break 100 a couple times this year, and what a great season. And we're running out of time, but Coach, thank you so much for calling in for the high school sports segment this Sunday morning. Congratulations on back-to-back state champions.
Thank you so much.
Best wishes on a great season next year. Hey, thanks so much for calling in. Folks, Inside Real Estate and News, Mike Kruizinga. Hey, we're here every week, 8 a.m. See you next week. We're out.